Jason, I guess I'll just get this off the bat, but I mean, I'm so happy and thrilled to be speaking with you. You are, of course, part of a very special series in my lifetime when I was younger, and you have been a part of so many things and projects that I love as an adult too. So I feel like nobody is doing it like Jason Isaacs these days. So my gosh.
Incredibly flattering. You clearly don't watch all the crap I make as well, but I'm thrilled.
No. I mean, I was just kind of looking back through some of the credits. Mass was one of my favorite films the year that came out. The OA was just such a trip, and I'm still so devastated that we didn't get to see the end of that.
Never say never.
That's true.
I had dinner with Zal and Britt last night.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna make some magic here.
And you know where we left it at the end of season 2. We could pick it up anywhere. In fact, it might actually be better with a few-year gap. So
that's true.
Yeah, don't say goodbye to Happen Prairie yet.
Okay, good. I'm very pleased to hear that. And then of course, The Death of Stalin. I mean, just such a great comedy. Just I love seeing all these
this
different.
Is very enjoyable because you're cherry picking all these lovely things over the years. Nice stuff in between that you're being very kind not to mention. But those are my favorite things I've made too, because they just work. They're just so good. But all of those projects had an extraordinary voice at the center of them. Mass was such a brilliant script that Frank Krantz wrote and directed. The Death of Stalin is Armando Iannucci through and through. It's full of wonderful actors, not me, but the other people.
You too.
Well, whatever. I don't like to think about myself, but I'm happy to talk about other people. But those, when you come across people like that who are that talented, like Mike White is, and you get a lot of the credit and glory that is really due to these extraordinary auteurs.
And I was just going to kind of start off our conversation with asking about just the breadth of characters and projects that you've been a part of. Is there ever any one specific thing that you're looking for when a script comes across your desk, or if somebody is speaking with you about something, or is it just a big collective decision?
I mean, in some ways you've answered the question. It's like, what do those things have in common? They're great.
Yeah.
Because I knew when I read them all, I went, oh my God. I remember reading Mass. Mass was Fran, who's most famous as being a stoner in a horror film. And, we met in a Starbucks in the Valley, and he gave me this script, and I thought, oh, he seems like a nice guy, but there's no money. It's not really going to happen. I read this thing and went, holy shit, this is magic. And I knew when I read Death of Stalin, it was hilarious. I actually thought with Death of Stalin, it might go down in flames because it could be the most offensive film ever made about one of the biggest genocide of the 20th century. Certainly, 50 million people, 60 million people, who knows how many people he killed. But I thought it was hilarious, and so did the world, including those people whose family had been caught in that or sent to the gulags. Obviously Mike has the auspices. He's done it before, but reading the scripts, it was just stunning. And the Potters, but everybody in the world was reading them. There's something was catching on, not just children. You were obviously very young when it was happening, but adults were reading them everywhere. Still are all over the world.
Oh yeah.
And so, what do I look for? Just that. I mean, if something is great, it and you read it. And then I've often turned down parts in really wonderful things because I don't think I'm the right person to play the part, or because my bit isn't that great, or I just don't think I can pull it off. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't back off from fear. I'm very scared of doing White Lotus. Scared in a creative way. That's a lot to pull off. I don't know if I can. I don't know how to be that drugged out of my head with no words and take the audience on the journey. Have them know what I'm thinking and have them know all the different ways that our avenues are closing down, which ones are opening up, and then do this crazy melodramatic thing at the end and try and kill my whole family, and then have a spiritual enlightenment. That's a lot to ask of someone.
I know.
Look, other people are in this naturalistic drama around me, and I'm in this, huge Greek tragedy. But I don't run away from fear. No, I turn down things when I think, well, it's great, but I won't be. I'm bad casting for that, or that particular part isn't well written enough, and I'm only ever as believable as the writing allows me to be. I mean, there isn't some part of it my job too to make it. But so yeah, that's the short answer is what I'm looking for, something great.
Well, I promise I'll stop flattering you so much, but I really do think that you're a very underrated
I'm an actor. Honestly, it's a bottomless pit of need. It's broke. There's a hole at the bottom of the bucket. It comes in and goes straight out. When I read reviews or read comments, I can read 10,000 things flattering. I am just looking for the one that goes, this guy's an idiot and disgusting.
No, I think I
Yeah.
personally think that you are a very underrated actor, and I always appreciate seeing you in any project. So I was very excited when I saw, of course, the big cast list for this season and that you were among the list. I kind of said, well, I will be seated, and I know that we're going to be in good hands. And
Thank you.
yes,
I mean,
it's
if that is anything, it's a tribute to not to my acting at all, but to the fact that I know how to choose well.
yes.
Like I will choose something that I think I can pull off because it's within my range, whatever that is, and also that the thing is great. You look better. The better the people you're around, the better the writing is. So,
Mhm.
I'll take that as a compliment, not to my acting, but to my ability to sniff out things that are going to work.
Yes. As you were starting to get into the White Lotus world, with the previous two seasons, were you like everybody else watching it week by week, or did you come into it later on?
It's now too late. The cat's out of the bag. And I told them, I lied to Mike and Dave and told them I was a huge fan. I'd seen them all. I'd never
That's
seen
okay.
a one frame of it. My family had during COVID. They started to watch the first one, and I was always washing up in the kitchen because they cook and I wash up. And
Yes.
not because I'm not a good cook, by the way, because they won't let me. But anyway, brand. Uh, and so when I tried to come in the room, I think I watched like episode 4 or 5 or something, the first one. They, no, Dad, you got to watch from the beginning. Well, wait, so I didn't. And then when season 2 came around, they were all very excited to sit down and watch it. They said, you can't watch it. You got to watch the first season first. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Come
Anyway, so
on.
I then binged both seasons in a day when I got the job and
Oh
had
boy.
lied how brilliant I thought it was. And I watched it and I thought, oh no, it actually is that good. So it was pretty great. And number 3 I thought was a much better, or much better. It's so different. Mike's growing as an artist, not repeating himself,
Mhm.
and he really reached for something much more resonant and profound and human and existential in this, for at least for my personally for my character's journey. And but no one could have predicted what happened to it. Like it happened, something odd happened in the world when it came out.
Mhm.
I mean, it just felt like I know I'm inside the White Lotus bubble and we're doing publicity everywhere. So obviously, but I by definition, I'm meeting people who are watching it. But I don't know, it just seemed gigantic to me in every country in the world. Everywhere we went, it was. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It was, and it's still going. Look, I'm talking to you.
I
It was over.
know.
We're still talking about it. I guess it's not over weeks ago because it's on streaming, so people are still watching it. Yeah.
Mhm. Would you say that, I guess that hype and that hubbub around the series, could you compare that to your time in the Potter series? Was that at all
Well,
comparable?
it's the only thing that it compares to just in terms
Mhm.
of scale. But actually, it seems bigger to me now. Potters are still 25 years later
Of
after the
course.
first film, still being watched everywhere. And I go to conventions, and I don't think in 25 years people will be talking about season 3 of The White Lotus. In fact, they'll be talking about season 4 this time next year. So
Yes.
like, it's not. We will be, yesterday's news. Um, but in the moment that it spread, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's
Mhm.
a different demographic, isn't it? Because people
Yeah.
aren't watching. It's not family entertainment, or
Mhm.
I don't know. Someone should be calling the social services if they're watching the less modern. But but yeah, it just seemed to go. I mean, I've been some weird places. We've all traveled all over the world publicizing it, which has been interesting. And it's not work, but it's an odd thing to do. But I've done some stuff that isn't to do with White Lotus. I went to a
Mhm.
tennis camp
Oh.
in an island off Spain. I went to Rafa Nadal's tennis camp, and like the janitors and the teachers were all watching it there. Like it's just places you don't expect people in the street. I had this experience in New York, walking home from my friend's house. I walk miles in New York. Everyone walks miles. Like, well, it's a straight street, and I'm walking. It's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and some guy comes out of a doorway. I think was having a pee. I think he was unhoused. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. And he goes, "Hey, you're the Lotus guy, right?"
Ah.
Yeah. He goes, "You're fucked, my friend. You're
You're
fucked.
right.
Your whole family's fucked." I'm like, "Yeah, no, no, very astute analysis. Thanks very much." Walk down the road and go, "Wait a second. Maybe he wasn't homeless. Maybe he's having a pee." He felt, where is he watching this
Yeah,
show?
where did this come
Do they
from?
have a phone? Was it an Amazon Fire Stick? Or what the hell's going on? Anyway, so I can only compare it certainly in scale of the junket to it. I've been in other things that was the OA was very successful around the world, but we
Mhm.
didn't do junkets that went on for months all the way around the world in every country where you get there and there's crowds of people and every journalist is pouring over every frame of it. And I think there was something old fashioned that happened that you definitely weren't born when this happened to me, because I was a kid when Dallas and Dynasty were on, and there was this moment who shot JR. But I don't know if it was the whole world, but it was certainly the world that I inhabited, in America and Britain, were talking about JR. And so it's been interesting talking to young people today, going, this is a phenomenon like none other, that, people are having viewing parties and people are talking about it all week. The social media, people are talking about it online all week and stuff. And I'm thinking, this is what television used to be like.
I mean, it's the water cooler show, as they used to say, where you knew that it was on. American Idol, for example, it was always on at the same time every single week, and then the next day, oh my God, I can't believe they sang this song. I can't believe they sent this person home. You have to see it. Yes.
You didn't mention that because I'm a secret American. I'm a huge American Idol fan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
America's Got Talent. I'm so moved by voices, not the other acts, but the singing voices. A great voice makes me cry always. I'm a terribly soppy, sentimental person.
Oh,
my wife and I have almost nothing in common after 30 years together, but we both cry at lovely voices and at cheap pop songs all the time. Instantly moved. All by cheesy moments in like AT&T commercials. So I'm an Idol addict.
Oh, I love that. Actually, in the town where I live, if you watched last season of American Idol, Abby Carter won. She lives in this area.
Of course I watched this.
Yes, so I've gotten to chat with her so many times, and she's lovely too.
Fantastic.
I guess getting back to White Lotus.
Sorry, yes, we should probably talk about White Lotus.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Tim very much is an interesting character because he kind of does a bit of I guess you could say it's a bit of a diabolical move to just not say anything for pretty much the most of the series.
That's interesting. Now I'm interviewing you. What do you mean it's diabolical move?
It's a bit diabolical. He's a little diabolical. It's diabolical because I suppose he was nice because he wanted the family to enjoy their vacation. I will give him that.
It wasn't that in my head, but it's always whatever you think. But that's absolutely what was going through my head at all.
Then tell me how you interpret this.
I was kind to them, and I certainly wouldn't feel diabolical. Well, first of all, the first thing that happens is he's going to solve it. This is a rich guy. His privilege has always solved every problem, even if he'd broken the law. And so he can get a newspaper article spiked, or if it gets printed in the Wall Street Journal, he can get 12 other articles in other newspapers and make it seem, and look at what's happened to people's understanding of the press. Look at how the Trump administration, or Trump himself, has so managed to undermine faith in legitimate journalism, where they have 3 independent corroborative sources, that people don't even believe things when they come from those august journals like the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or whatever, or the BBC. So he can make it unbelievable that people don't, think it's not true. And then if it turns out that he has actually broken some law, which is a tax law, it's a tax loophole, can he be shielded from it, hide it? And if not, can he gum it up in court forever? Look at how many things Trump has not had to bear the consequences of, how many laws he's broken. So he's got fleets of lawyers he can throw things. So the first thing he's doing, why bother telling? He's a very old-fashioned, man from he embodies the patriarchy, and his wife and his daughter are on this pedestal. They're women, so they don't deal with it. But his son is a bit of a disappointment. He's inside the tent. He goes to work with him, but he's not him. And the other son's lost. And so why would he tell any of them these problems? He's going to solve it. And then when it becomes clear, which was something Mike and I worked on together, because in the initial scripts, like it fell apart in episode 1. I'm like, well, could we calibrate a bit? Because he'd be able to solve these problems. Mike is he's just a fantastic person to work with. He's like, yeah, let's do that. Let's change the phone calls. So we changed it so that bit by bit the walls close in. And so it wasn't just he's going to be fined the $10 million. $10 million, he'd get down the back of his sofa, It was all of his money, and then they'd freeze all of his assets, and then they'd take the trust funds, and then the house and the car. And actually, because of the new laws to do with Russian sanctions and drug dealing and all these things, and that even his top lawyer goes, I can't stop this. And that, it dawns on him that they are driving off a cliff. At that point, it's not, let's let them enjoy these last 3 days. He just, his own personal fall from grace, the disgrace, the not reputational damage. He's never getting up on his feet again. He's never going to work in finance again. He comes from a town where there are statues to the Ratliffs. The courthouse is named after his great-grandfather. His grandfather was the governor. There's a hospital wing named after him. He's donated. The Duke he sponsors the football team, and then there's there is a library named after him. Like, he's not going to be able to afford, will he get public housing? how's he going to afford? His daughter's not going to live in a monastery because they can't afford the plane fare. Like, so it's not that he's protecting them. He goes from solution to living out these catastrophic scenarios. But I mean, he's not a catastrophist. Like, these really are coming for him. And then he goes, I can't have these thoughts in my head anymore. And he tries to obliterate his brain with drugs. They work for most people. Lorazepam's a very successful anti-anxiety medication. He has the bad trip on it. It just exacerbates. It multiplies what he's going through 1,000 times. And he still thinks, I must be able to come up with a solution. And he does. Comes up with a solution. I'm going to kill myself. And then bit by bit, he realizes, but then I'm leaving these people in this terrible dilemma, and they'll come to him. And unbeknownst to them, they confess that the privilege is what makes them, and they can't live without it. And he goes, okay, I've got a solution. I'll kill them. One by one. It's not a happy solution. Goes to he's not present with anyone. They're all talking. Just, he sees their mouths moving. But it doesn't really matter what they're saying. He knows that on Saturday they're driving off that cliff. They are Thelma and Louise. The cliff's coming for them. And then he goes to see the monk. He hasn't listened to anybody ever. He's sitting at the table with them and trying to hide it from them. And he says, "What is this death thing?" And the monk goes, "It's great. Death's great." He rejoined the human race, and he thinks, "Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be great? I could kill myself. I'm gonna have to try and be better than other people or maintain that distance, And so the monk's words at that point seem great, and so he comes up with the solution. And one by one, as they all sign up for the kill list, even crushingly his daughter, apart from Lachlan, who he thinks will survive, he puts the plan in motion. He says, there's a guy with solutions, and this solution, having blitzed his brain, seems like the best option. And so he goes through with it, and at the very last minute, something, he cannot do it. It doesn't. He takes his solution away. It's a disaster when he doesn't kill them. Now he's really fucked. Well, now he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what the hell.
That's what that guy was talking about when he saw you on the street. You really are fucked now.
Yeah. Well, now what is he going to do? He just goes. It's such a journey. The tricky thing was to do that journey. First of all, he shoot everything out of sequence, so emotionally, and just to do with the drugs out of sequence. But secondly, to get there, to know that I have to get to a place where I'm going to kill them all, then not to die, but not know what to do, and then Lachlan nearly dies, and then Mike gave me this gift. It gives the audience this gift. It gives Tim this gift that I had to try and bring to life, which is total spiritual redemption. He's on the boat and he looks at the drops of water and he suddenly hears the monk's words properly for what they were meant to be, and goes, "What a relief to surrender, to just be a member of the human race, no better, no worse, not richer, not smarter, not destined for anything, just to accept fate, whatever it is." And he looks over at these people, and they are, they're going to face terrible times for them. And he thinks with love, it's the best thing that could ever happen to any of them. We're not special. None of us are special. And he, at that moment, in this show, which is a social satire in many ways, he embodies the perfect principles of Buddhism. And so really, it's a magical thing that the spiritual enlightenment that he feels at that moment, whether he'll keep feeling or not, I don't know. So anyway, I don't know, I can't remember what the question was, but taking that job, I'm like, that's a lot. Nobody else,
That is a lot.
Too much. It felt like a lot to do.
See, I'm happy that I threw you off for a loop by saying it was a bit of a diabolical decision, but
sorry, that's what it was. That was the
it's okay. It's okay.
Not diabolical. He's just reacting, thinking, initially about himself, and then how can I prevent them from facing the same life-crushing, shame that I'm going to face, and then thinking, oh, actually, what will save us all is humiliation and humility.
It's almost like he's going through his own messed up version of the 5 stages of grief, all through all of that.
And also, because because Mike's writing it, the one guy in the world who is least seeking any kind of spiritual enlightenment, who is even explicit about it. When she goes, "So we're going to develop a wellness," he's like, "I'm just going to the gym. The gym, and I'm going to eat meat, and I'm going to drink red wine. Maybe I'll open some of the girls by the pool. That's me." Right? He is the guy that goes on a full Buddhist, spiritual quest, as it were. And what about that diabolical?
I know. I'm sorry. No,
it is funny though. I initially in some interviews I was saying, he gets suicidal, which is a very dark place to be as an actor, even, and then he gets homicidal. But he's not homicidal. he's saving them.
Yeah.
In his state of mind, he thinks I'm going to save them like I'm going to save myself.
Hmm.
This stuff which no one could possibly face.
He really was a interesting character on the show because I think all of them had just internal journeys that they were going through one way or the other. Of course, the actress who plays your daughter on the show, she had her own decision to make. Many of the other characters as well, but he really was on his own for so much of it. And as you said, you're kind of acting as you're in a haze. You're making all of these inner decisions. Is that how challenging is it when it really all depends upon you in a role such as this?
Well, it's odd because what acting is about and the things I get from it, and maybe things I don't know I would never say I do anything well, but I feel is authentic, is connection, is
Hmm.
human connection, wanting something from someone else, connecting with someone else. I try and do no preparation. I don't know my lines, or I don't know what the character is like. I don't ever plan what's happening in the scene. If the script tells me what someone thinks or feels, I cross it out. I don't want to see it,
Mm.
because I want to be present. Tim's never present. Tim is acting out his own 5-act drama in his head all the time.
Yes.
And these are very concrete thoughts. I'm not in a general depression. I'm picturing the people I meet and how I'm going to face, my brother, and how, what's going to happen when I go to court, and what should I say to the press, and how the hell my children are going to have a roof over their head, and who can I borrow? Would anybody borrow money, lend me money at that point? All those things. I'm thinking very specific things all the time because acting is specifics. But nonetheless, it was lonely. As Tim, it's terrifying and lonely.
Hmm.
And I'm happy to act very extreme emotions, and nobody wants to buy a ticket to watch The Village of the Happy People. People are always experiencing extreme things. That's what drama is. And
Yes.
I like it. It's cathartic. Why do we get on a roller coaster so we can have a supposed near-death experience? But it was odd not connecting, and so I love those odd moments of connection with my children, the moments where they break through.
Hmm.
And I thought they did it beautifully. Sam didn't have. I thought he was fantastic as Lachlan, but he didn't have the spiritual journey, the journey that Patrick and Sarah Catherine had, because Patrick had to keep his powder very dry, have people
Hmm.
think of him as this kind of douchebag, as he calls him all the time,
Yes.
and
Yes.
make comparisons to Jake Lacey from season 1, because he knew what was coming. And in episode 6 or 7, he comes to me and he goes, "Look, I'm nothing without you.
Yeah.
Dad, I'm nothing. If you don't succeed, my life is just a failure." And you see, it's all been a facade.
Hmm.
And you have to keep that powder dry all that time. And you go, "Oh yeah, you know what? These girls are not responding to his terrible pickup lines. This is all braggadocio for his younger brother. I don't think he's ever successful with women. I don't think he does understand anything about people. He's a horrible pale shadow, a fake facsimile of his father, and he knows it." He did that. And then Sarah Catherine, all of her character, the whole thing pivots around one scene at breakfast where she goes, "I'm not who I've pretended to be to myself.
Yeah.
I am a spoiled princess." And Parker's gloating and all this stuff. It was a fabulous moment of TV drama.
It was
And then
very lovely.
I'm thinking, fuck, I'm going to have to kill my precious baby, the girl, because he's such a patriarch.
Hmm.
He puts her on a pedestal. She's going to have to die too. And she had to wait all that time to show us what was really inside her. So everybody had their own journey. But
It was a
mine felt
journey.
lonely. Mine felt quite lonely. It's true.
Yes, yes. I do have to, if I can once again be very complimentary to you, it is to wonderful accent work. And
Oh, thank you very much.
I think a lot of English actors do wonderful jobs with whatever accents, but this one was a pretty tough one. I mean, you obviously have a very lovely English accent.
I have an incorrect. Well, actually, this isn't my accent, my natural accent. I was born with a different accent. I've had 2 or 3 in my life, but all completely different from each other. I'm from Liverpool. I had quite a pronounced Liverpool accent when I was growing up. Then I had a very London accent. Now I have something. I don't know what I have, a hybrid or something. Yeah, well, I like specifics. Actually, you know what's harder to do? It's a very specific thing. Not just Durham, North Carolina, but old money, blue blood, North Carolina.
Yeah, yes.
Who was raised more by his grandfather than his father, because his father was away at business all the time.
Hmm.
So I had to listen to old Durham accents as well to get the very odd colonial vowel sounds. That's actually easy to do. Like, I did 3 seasons of Brotherhood, which is set in Rhode Island, which was a fantastic series. Rhode Island, like, Providence Irish is a very specific accent. And it's easier to do that or do Brooklyn like I did recently in something than it's to do. There is no such thing as the generic American accent.
Right. There's
Everybody's
so many
from
different
somewhere.
parts. Mm-hmm.
They're not necessarily, the regional aspect of it doesn't hit you in the face, but people say orange and orange. People say, there's a lot of different ways, office and stuff like that. That's the same vowel. There's many different sounds and rhythms, mostly accents and music.
Yes.
More than people are inconsistent even in their own accent when it comes to particular vowel sounds and stuff. They're rarely inconsistent with the music. And so the music, every accent has a kind of tune to it, a kind of basic default tune. And North Carolina is so seductive and infectious. It's not that hard to do once you've got a role model. I had a couple of people that I had in my headphones all the time who are old money politicians and or businessmen from Durham. No, it's harder when I've done. They go, it's from Iowa, but he's quite middle class. You can't really tell. I'm like, okay.
What is that?
Yeah, and it is a thing. But it sounds a lot like many other things. And it's, as an English actor, accents are one of the tools you have to use all the time because when you open your mouth in England, everybody knows everything about you, not just geographically, everything about you, education-wise, income-wise, how you're trying to project yourself in the world. All those things are audible. So it's a tool you need to learn to use. So when you go, okay, I'm playing American. Where are they from? Where are their parents from? And what kind of education they had. And most Americans don't think about it.
No,
it's not something you guys know. And many magnificent actors here can't do an accent at all. It's just not a muscle you develop. So I live in fear of them going, it's just kind of generalized American. I'm like, I want to be from. I did a series called Good Sam with fabulous Sophia Bush a couple of years ago on CBS, and it was Detroit. And my guy, no matter that it was educated out of him, was from Detroit. Everyone else was just doing their own accents. And I'm like, no, the hospital's in Detroit, and he's actually from here, and I need some anchor points.
Yeah. I know that a lot of people had singled out Parker Posey for certain words, Buddhism and all that. Do you have a favorite word that Tim was saying in his North Carolina accent that you just loved saying?
Oh my God. I've never been asked that because people
yay.
No, because the thing is, his wife has become, in his head, so grotesque with her drug use and so embarrassing to him socially and professionally, and with the kids, that he, in some ways, he tempers down his voice and the music of his voice. He's just trying to be functional. He's trying to be like a drill instructor a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, God, if I look through the script, I'm sure I could have, but I'll be thinking of something very clever when we get off the.
One of these moments, maybe it'll be the way that you said.
Well, do you have a favorite line I said?
I mean, I'm trying to think of it too, but as you said, I mean, so many of Parker's words, Lorazepam, we flew over the North Pole.
Stretched it all out, I wasn't going to do that around her. I wasn't going to keep the length of my vowels around Parker.
Yes.
I would always.
Well, Jason, I just want to thank you so very much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for so many laughs that you gave me today, through the season, and just over the years. And I'm always excited to see what you have coming up next. So I'll be looking out for it.
Watching.
I will.
At least 1 in 10 will be worth watching.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.